All right. Hello again, Adventures, and welcome to another exciting daily vlog. This is number 28. And first things first, I need a drink. I drink a lot of water. I actually don't, but I should. I drink almost exclusively water, but depending on the day, I sometimes drink a fair amount, and other times I'll drink like one bottle a day. So, today, first things first, since recording the video yesterday, I went from recording and uploading the video to going to sleep. And just laying in my bed for a long time because my brain doesn't like me sleeping. And then I kind of like just passed in and out of consciousness until like, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours ago. So I have been mostly sleeping for like the past 24 hours. And I feel immensely better. Not sleeping can really mess with you. And the fact that the reason I was not sleeping was due to panic attacks and nightmares. It was not fun. But I'm doing a lot better. I'm still not great. I'm still having large issues keeping food down. Or keeping food in, because that's the other aspect of this is it either comes up or instantly exits, and we will leave it at that. So I'm doing a lot better. Thanks to everyone that was kind enough, whether it was just like liking the video or saying something kind. Really means a lot. Really does help. Yeah, this has just been remarkably unpleasant. And the weird thing about it, over the past 24 hours, I have not had a period of sleep that I have not either had a dream or a nightmare. And they kind of just, they don't even alternate. It's kind of a random roll of the dice whether it's going to be a dream or a nightmare. And I cannot remember the vast majority of what happens. I can just remember I would wake up and either be in a good mood or be in the middle of a panic attack. And it's really weird because I don't... When I was younger, I used to dream a fair amount. And as I got older, I just stopped dreaming. And for the most part, if I had any kind of dream-like experience when I was older, most of them were nightmares. And they're relatively few and far in between. And just for whatever reason, I have been dreaming like crazy over the past few days, specifically the past 24 hours, because that's when I was actually sleeping. I have no idea why. I know the nightmare thing, because that actually used to happen to me before I got my CPAP, is I would have nightmares all the time. And it was because I was having panic attacks in my sleep. And my brain would kind of justify that by having me have a nightmare. And I was having panic attacks in my sleep because I would stop breathing. And fun fact, the way that your body, because everybody stops breathing at night at some point or another. And it's generally relatively tiny. But the way that your brain reacts to that is if your brain can kind of sense how much oxygen is in your blood, I believe. And when it gets below a certain point, your brain will go, oh, this is bad. We need more oxygen going to our brain and to the muscles and all that other stuff. So what it does is it sends this signal to your endocrine system that releases just the tiniest bit of adrenaline. And adrenaline, really cool chemical. And basically what it does is it just makes everything speed up in your body. Increases your heart rate, increases your respiration, and makes your blood pump faster. And the reason behind that is your blood's your energy delivery system to your body. So even if you are not actively ingesting food. You're not actively creating more energy simply by increasing your heart rate, increasing your respiration, and having the blood flow just faster. Everything will get more energy and more oxygen. And that's just how it works. And so that's one of the ways that they can, when they do a sleep apnea test, that's one of the ways that they can tell is they'll watch that your heartbeat will increase and respiration will increase, and they're, oh, that's an event. So for me, because of my panic disorder, whenever any amount of adrenaline is released, my body has kind of hardwired itself to any amount of adrenaline or any raise in my heart rate or respiration instantly turns into a panic attack. And that is, your body goes into fight or flight mode. Your senses get dialed up to 11, and you are effectively convinced that you're in a near-death situation, that if it doesn't start giving all of your muscles extra energy, doesn't start giving your brain extra oxygen so it can process things faster, then you're going to die. When that happens when you're asleep, there's nowhere for the excess energy and the increased processing power to go. And so one of the ways that that can manifest, I'm not saying this happens with everyone, but one of the ways it can manifest is nightmares, and eventually what are called night terrors, which are basically nightmares that involve you actually actively acting out something. Not like sleepwalking or anything like that, but things like you'll start moving around in bed significantly more, or you will cry out or scream. Those are the crying out and screaming thing is pretty typical of a night terror. And I've never been diagnosed with night terrors, and it's been, God, easily 20 years, maybe more, since I've actually slept in a room with someone else. Other than a few times at conventions where I shared rooms with other dungeon masters who were getting free tickets. So nobody has ever, like, I've had conversations with my doctors where they go, hey, just without thinking, one of my doctors goes, so does anyone watch you sleep? And I instantly just turn and go, what? He's like, no, I'm asking, trying to figure out if you have night terrors. And I go, why would someone watch me sleep? He's like, well, do you have a girlfriend that you sleep with, or do you have a roommate or something? I said, no, I haven't in decades. And I've never had, I guess you could call it an in-person sleep study. I've never gone to a place where I've been monitored while I'm sleeping. My sleep apnea test was done via a heart monitor and blood ox meter in my own home. Like, they just gave me these gadgets that I had to hook up to myself every night. And so I didn't have to go in somewhere to do it, which is really nice for me because I don't know if I could have slept in a place that was not my room back then, but who knows. So I've never been diagnosed with night terrors, but due to my panic disorder and the fact that I have woken up from into full-blown panic disorders, that have woken up and immediately had a seizure, I've just kind of assumed that I probably had night terrors. Because by the time my PTSD and panic disorder was bad enough that it was causing issues, I effectively, the house that we lived in, I basically lived on the top floor by myself because the other two bedrooms are empty, and my brother, who's living with me at the time, still live with him. Yeah. My brother had a room on the main floor, and so it's possible that I was having night terrors and no one ever knew about them because no one was sleeping with me, or near enough to me to know if I was doing anything in my sleep. So I just assume I have night terrors. I've never been diagnosed, so take that for what it will. It may be whatever, but yeah. So like I said, I'm familiar with having nightmares and what I believe are night terrors, but dreaming is something that's really, really rare for me. Like, I'm not completely dreamless since becoming an adult, but most of the time, if I'm thinking about things when I'm asleep, it's a nightmare. And so the fact that I've been having, like, again, the past 24 hours, I've had like 3 or 4 different dreams. And the little tiny bits that I could remember for moments after it, I woke up, I don't remember, or they don't make sense. Is what I was trying to say. And at this point, I don't actually remember what it was that didn't make sense, but I do remember going, "That was weird," when I woke up. So yeah, something weird's going on in my brain, which for me is technically normal, but still not for fun. But at least I'm not in, and that's one of the weird things about kind of lack of sleep, and especially lack of sleep combined with panic attacks and all these other things, is it physically hurts. Like your entire body, just every time you try to move it, it feels like you're rusted effectively. And every time you try to move anything, it feels like you're scraping and grinding against your own body. And it's really unpleasant. So that's gone. For the most part, I can move like normal. I still have a degenerative hip disorder, so anything involving my hips is painful. But the rest of my body is working relatively as well as it normally does, which is still not good, but better than the last few days. So thank you for everyone that was, thinking kind things about me and saying prayers and whatever else you guys do when you see someone that you kind of recognize from online in pain. So thank you very much. I had a couple ideas about interesting things that I wanted to talk about today, but we're 12 minutes into this, and yeah, my brain is still really kind of fuzzy from everything that's gone on. So I think that's going to be all I'm going to talk about today. Is I am no longer in a very, very bad place. Not in a good place, but it's an improvement over rock bottom. So, yeah. We'll see what happens tomorrow. There's been other stuff happening behind the scenes that should be really, really fun. Yeah. So, anyway, it's all for me today. I will see you guys in the next time. All right? Bye-bye.